All right, what would an Australian Open show be without the current champion of the Australian Open, Jamie McKeown? Jamie, welcome. It looks like you're in your happy place there in southeast Queensland at the moment.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, it's the only sort of happy place we have at the moment to remind us of what tournament fishing's like. So, yeah, no, it's cool in here. I like it here.
And your lockdown time, mate, you're doing a bit of homeschooling. What's your days entail at the moment?
Yeah, Monday to Friday, mate. Is homeschooling, so probably should have listened a bit better when I was at school. Otherwise, things could be going a bit smoother.
What grade maths are you doing?
Grade 2.
So it's an even competition or what?
Yeah. My daughter's helping me a lot. And the weekends I've been getting out about trying to get offshore and get some fish for the table sort of thing. So that's been good too. So doing things I wouldn't usually do while we've got the tournaments on. Usually I don't get time to fish my local area, fish offshore or anything like that. So, yeah, while we've not had any tournaments on, I've been scouting around offshore and catching some pearlies and snapper and that sort of stuff.
Nice. How do you get a heavy cranker crab down 80, 90 metres?
Mate, I'm trying to work that out. I've got some big ones, so I'm thinking, maybe paternoster rig or something like that. But, yeah, I'm bound to catch something on it out of 90 metres.
Now, mate, you would be hating the guts of 2020 at the moment because 2020 was is the year which has stopped your role. You won the Queensland Open last year. You won the Australian Open last year. I see in the background there you won the Mercury Cup as well. You were looking forward to taking that role into 2020, weren't you?
Yeah. I was really looking forward to fishing the Open again. Like, I think it's probably one of the hardest tournaments you can try and defend, I reckon. It's such a huge arena. There's so many people that are, experienced at fishing that arena. It would have to be one of the hardest competitions to go back-to-back on. So, yeah, I was pretty keyed up to get stuck in.
Well, mate, your learning curve on Sydney Harbour and the Hawkesbury, though, was pretty steep because it was only your second Australian Open that you'd ever fished. I think you'd done a couple of events at the Hawkesbury before.
Yep.
Like we did a grand final down there. I remember we camped out at Narrabeen there and did that grand final.
Yep.
What was your secret to doing well in Sydney? Like, you obviously found one spot and milked it, and that goes against all of the logic for Sydney Harbour. We always say that you can't win at fishing the same spot, but you proved us all wrong, and you did that last year. Go through the the sort of deep water pattern you were fishing because we've got some highlights footage playing in the background here.
Yeah, I guess I put a hell of a lot of preparation into last year's Open. Like it mightn't seem like I did, but there was a lot of research. There was a lot of looking at maps and trying to find areas and that sort of thing. The first Australian Open I fished in Parramatta River, and I wanted to fish the pig and sows and the wedding cakes on pre-fish day in the first Open I fished, but I just never got there because the arena is so big. And I thought, well, I'm not going to go down there on a comp day. I'll stay where I pre-fished, and that's where I fished that first tournament. And I thought, my second time down there, I thought I'm definitely going to be fishing that Middle Harbour end. So, yeah, and Hawkesbury was a nemesis for me. Like, I'd never, ever filled a bag or filled a limit there until the second day of the Australian Open last year. So, yeah, it was my pre-fish day. Leading up to the pre-fish day, I had done a lot of research online and looked at maps and stuff like that. So, and then pre-fish day, we had all that rain, if you remember.
Yep.
And I thought my plan was probably going to be cactus, especially for Hawkesbury, because I knew I was going to go well upriver at Hawkesbury. So in saying I put a lot of preparation into it, I probably didn't have a lot of nerves or expectations because of the rain. And then I pre-fished. I didn't pre-fish Hawkesbury. I pre-fished Sydney, put in at, is it Rose Bay down in Middle Harbour down there? And it was like dodging stumps, pollution, all that sort of stuff. That day it was terrible, and I'm just driving out thinking, oh, my God, this is going to suck. Went out to the wedding cakes, pulled a quick couple of fish off there, just average fish, and then saw the cardinal markers for the pig and sows and thought, I'll go and have a look at that. And I really wanted to fish at top water and went over there, and I didn't know the area, so I was probably 100 metres off the reef itself, and I thought, I'll just work my way in, chucking this crab until I get shallower so I can have a look. I didn't know where the bombies were or anything like that. Got in there, I was probably 100 metres off, and I just randomly chucked the crab towards the reef, and next minute loaded up with a 36 forker, and I thought, this is cool. And then got in closer again and had another cast, and it was a 37 forker. So I thought I'll leave that. That's my day one plan. That's me.
That's awesome. And did you ever get to throw a top water?
No, never did.
I might give you something to do next time we fish in Australian Open, mate. We love really watching the highlights. You're always good for ABT. You've run live streams where possible. You run the cameras where possible. Tell us, like the crab rod you're using in these highlights, it looks a little bit shorter than a lot of the rods the guys use. Take us through your crab throwing system, because I know it uses the gear of one of the great ABT sponsors, Samaki and Josh from Bluefish. So take us through the gear you were using to do it last year.
Yeah, the gear for crabs, like I know some people will say crab fishing's just like bait fishing, and it's easy, and mate, there's so much that goes into it to be successful in it. Like, as you'd know, there's a lot of line management, there's a lot of, you need the right rod for the right structure. Yeah. So you need all that sort of stuff. But I was using an Archer, Samaki Archer 6.9, so it was a little bit shorter, and I was using the Akuta, which is a Samaki product as well, 2500 reel. And I had to up everything a little bit because it was serious country that I was fishing. Yeah. So yeah, it was sort of hold on, and you really had to get them out with really tight drag, and then you could back your drag off a bit. But you just had to, if you lost the fish, you lost the fish. Like, that was just, and I lost plenty. Like, there was a couple of times there where I went up to, I was using 14-pound leader, and I was still
losing.
Yeah. There's some giants there, that's for sure.
Happy days, mate. Well, like all things, the year after it's won on a spot, you might have a little bit of company there next time. I remember you pointing me towards a Betts weigh-in where old mate was standing next to the camera, and he was saying, I would have won on that spot, but some bloody Queenslander, won off the Australian Open off it the week before. I had a bit of a laugh about that because, people have been trying to win the Oz Open off that spot for a decade, but no one has actually been able to do it.
Yeah, I think that's the crabs, mate. The crabs have redesigned our tournament fishing, really. Like, it's added, in my opinion, I think you can probably say from a lot of the arenas we fish, that's a good crab fishery anyways. It's added probably 1 kilo to 2 kilos to limits here and there, sort of thing. So it's a outstanding sort of lure to revolutionise our series.
Yeah, mate. Look, I noticed on the wall behind you there's that Mercury Cup from 2019. That's something that ABT runs through the whole series. The best ranking points for the Mercury round is during the year gets it. Now, you came into the grand final last year having had that thing basically won, because you won the Queensland Open, you won the Australian Open, and you did well on the grand final, which are 3 of the biggest ranking points events that there are. I hear rumours that you're going to start a new business next year. You're going to maybe get into a little bit of charter work, mate. Is it another Mercury for the back of the boat for that one, or what?
Yeah, mate. Yeah. I'll definitely be upgrading the motor. So that is the plan. Yeah, that is the plan. So we'll be looking at getting into a bit of offshore and offshore fishing, not charter work, and estuary inshore charter work. Showing people what we do. The light line. Like, a lot of people say, catch and brim, blah blah blah, but yeah, once they get out and have a crack and catch a brim on light line, or catch a flathead on light line, it's like, yeah, right, that's pretty cool. So, show them what we do. But yeah, mate, I'm looking to upgrade to a nice V8 Merc. So that's the plan.
Happy days, mate. And anyone in the ABT network that wants to go and catch a fish on the Gold Coast, how good would it be when we can travel again? You go to the holidays on the Gold Coast with your family, shoot them off to SeaWorld and go fishing with Jamie for a day and get the crab master lesson. That's the plan, isn't it?
That's it, mate. That's it. Yeah, we'll have all sorts of things going on with hopefully through ABT and all that sort of thing. So yeah, it'll be good.
Awesome, mate. It'll be good to have a good crab throwing operator on the Gold Coast finally.
Yeah.
Hey, tell us about your new tournament jersey there, mate. I know you're pretty famous for wearing the old pink Flamingo shorts. Must be one of your lucky charms doing it, but I've noticed that it's crept up onto the jersey a little bit, the pink, mate. It's when's it going to get into the hat?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't get custom hats. I only just get the custom shirts. But, it came about, I I don't mind the bright colours. That's a given sort of thing. But I was getting some shirts made for this year's shirts made for my son and daughter, and I couldn't get just blue and I couldn't get just pink, so they had a bit of blue and a bit of pink as well. So and Dad doesn't mind it either. So
there you go. Designed by a committee.
Yeah, that's it.
Mate, I know you're chomping at the bit to get back into tournament fishing, but like all the good corporate citizen that ABT is, will only start tournament fishing when it's the right thing to do and when all of the laws allow it. In your dream world, what would be the very first tournament on the tournament calendar if we came back into it? What would you like to go and fish, and what's chewing you up that you can't fish at the moment?
Mate, I wouldn't care. Hey, I just would love to get to an ABT, see all the boys and get amongst it. I think there's a couple of places where, like the Declan Betts interview I did with him on the ABT Angler page, with me, I'm fairly competitive, but I'm fairly competitive with not just the anglers, but just my previous results. So I've got a bit of a burning hole for Port Stephens and Gladstone. So, I'm looking for revenge on those two places for sure.
That's right. And look, they are two great arenas, plenty of rock in both of those arenas. And let's just say, let's hope it doesn't take you too long to get it wide, mate, because we get a bit of a grace period in some of these things. Like, I can normally work out things pretty quick, but you're a bit slower to get to the point. But once you get there, there's like, mate, you're like you can't get rid of you off the good spots, mate. You get it dialed in, and you're very focused when you work it out.
Yeah, it takes a little bit for me to work things out, mate. I'm just a dumb Gold Coast boy, so it's but no, I like it. Once I work it out, that's the challenge as well. You know, like you come up with a plan. Especially, it was really good fishing Gladstone last year because no one had fished there. There was no research that you could do, so we're all going in blind. We're all going in the same way, sort of thing. And you go there and you have good pre-fish, and then you go back on day one or day two, and it's not the same. And it's like, oh yeah, I know what I did wrong, or I know where I need to be, and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, so that sort of fishery really excites me. That was really awesome. And Port Stephens, I just sucked, so I just really can't wait to get back there and have another crack.
I can guarantee that, mate. You did go in blind at Gladstone, definitely. Let's one final comment. I know that ABT itself has got the motto "Who shares wins." For a lot of people that don't know you, you're fairly imposing. You're a big sort of dude. You're a mean-looking dude, but you wear pink shirts and you're pretty happy to share the knowledge, mate. Anyone that sees Jamie at ABT event, don't be scared to go up to him. He's the gentlest giant I've ever met. So let's keep the ABT Who Shares Wins thing going, mate. And I definitely know that you're very approachable. You're a very humble winner. And I don't think there's too many people that are ever going to have the Queensland and the Australian Open trophy at the same time, mate. So congratulations and thanks for spending some time with us this evening.
Thanks, mate. Look forward to getting back on the circuit.